Before the break, we asked, in Greek mythology, which musical instrument does Apollo play? We gave you a flute, a drum, and the last one is a lyre. It is a lyre. Apollo, the god of music, Apollo plays a lyre, which is like a kind of a lute. Not that we know any better what a lute and a lyre. They're similar, I think. Well, maybe they're not. No, I think a lute's more like a guitar. There he is. That's the actual real picture of him. So welcome back to the show with Ellie and Kevin. I'm delighted to say we're joined by Rakie Ayola, a Welsh actress who is in the new Netflix show Kaos. Welcome, Rakie.
Thank you.
Great to see you. So it's connected. Our Apollo question is relevant because let's see Rakie in action here.
Taking those human souls through the frame is a complex and delicate process. We cannot, for the preservation of the integrity of the underworld, allow standards to...
Hello?
Consider it done.
What? Oh. Okay. Yeah, good. Good. Hey, while I've got you, did either of you happen to see my watch? I've been... And I hang up.
Right, so a reimagining of Greek myths. This is, I don't know where you'd even start with that if you were writing it. It's really interesting.
The mind of Charlie Cavell, who also wrote End of the Effing World. And Charlie is brilliant. So in Charlie's version, this is if all the characters from Greek mythology lived in the 1990s.
Right.
So it's the world as you'll recognise it, but there are no mobile phones, and there's something slightly other about it. And it's a world where, you know, a three-headed dog is a natural thing, a normal thing.
So, and of course we see Jeff Goldblum there, who I know you worked with a lot on this. Ooh, he is a bit of a ledge.
He's amazing. He plays Zeus.
Nice guy, I gather.
He's so gorgeous. He is so gorgeous. He's kind and thoughtful and incredibly intelligent and just a joy to work with, actually. And he just chats and he remembers he's got an extraordinary memory, you know, sort of encyclopedic.
Eccentric?
Wonderfully so. As eccentric as you would want Jeff Goldblum to be, and more. He's a delight.
It's funny because I was sitting in Radio 2 the other day and I was doing my kind of papers for my show, and I heard this voice that I so recognised. I thought, who is it? And I look up and he's 10 feet saying, and like what I noticed was how lovely he was to everyone. All the runners, all the researchers.
Yeah. And that's him. He doesn't turn that on and off. He's like that all the time. He was such a delight to work with. And, you know, just before we were doing a take, he would want to play a game where you name a movie and then I name someone that was in the movie and then you name someone a movie they were in, and we go back and forth. And no matter what movie you started with, it would always end with Jeff going, "Oh, me."
Yeah, I see. OK, so listen, I saw Rakie first on stage, as it happens. We just worked this out because you were playing Hermione in the Harry Potter extravaganza. So it was really interesting because what you did, you went to see I just went as a paying customer with my kids, as they then were, and you saw two plays in one day, didn't you? That's what happened. So it was The Cursed Child and...
Well, it was the whole play.
The whole thing was like 6 hours
two,
or something.
You couldn't only watch part one. You can't. It's, you know, it's still on. You can't only watch part one because it ends in a place that makes no sense. And if you only watch part two, it begins in a place that makes no sense. But there are a few places around the world now where they've condensed it to one because people weren't coming back. So they were leaving thinking, what next?
I mean, you were brilliant in it, but I had an issue because I got, it's not just an interval, it's like a reset for an hour. And, you know, so it's the whole thing is maybe, you know, 2.5 hours and then 2 hours with an hour in between. And I went to a pub round the corner and there's a Chelsea game on. And I had real conflicting loyalties there. I did come back.
You did come back.
Yeah. Did you enjoy doing it? Because I remember that people saying Hermione can't be black and all that rubbish.
And, you know, listen, I understand people create these characters, you know, they mean a lot to them in their heads, and then when they see them, even when they knew the book was going to become a film, they were like, you can't do that. And when the film was going to become a play, they can't do that. And oh my goodness, Hermione can't be black. I absolutely love what I call the super fans, the people who live locally who would come and see the play. I mean, some people have seen it nearly 300 times now. And I loved their energy, and I thought, you know what, if you can go with this, it's fine. And also I remember when every time a new cast is announced anywhere in the world, somebody joined the Hermione can't be black conversation as though it hasn't been happening since 2017. And there was one woman who described herself on Twitter as a doctor, and she said, "My life is over now." And Nomi Dumasweni, who had played Hermione for the first year, responded, I think, from Broadway, and said, "My love, if this is the worst thing happening in your life, I'd say your life is fine."
Brilliant.
You're right.
Response
I
that.
think, yeah. So when we think about J.K. Rowling, we have two thoughts, don't we? We think Harry Potter and all that magic, and then we think this daily trench warfare that she's in over the trans issue. And I was at the Edinburgh Fringe last week, Rakie, and one of the comedians who might have sympathised with J.K. just said, why can't she just enjoy her money? Why does she have to fight this every single day? Where are you on that?
Again, I spoke to the superfans and I asked where they were, and they tried really hard to fall out of love with Harry Potter, and they couldn't, because it would be like them giving up sugar. You know, it's part of their identity. They love that world. So they've had to separate what they feel about her from what they feel about her work. What I'd say is, I mean, I am of no consequence to her at all, but I would kind of like to sit down with her and ask that same question. Why do you need to get into this row? What's happened? What's going on? And also, I don't like the phrase trans issue. We're just talking about people. I don't want people to I wouldn't like to be described as an issue.
No, but okay, we've had it come up here.
I know, I just want to be able to sit with people. I'm not interested in name calling. It doesn't achieve anything. I just want to go, just explain what's going on for you. Why, whenever I hear from you, are you talking about the same thing? What's happening? She's not going to call me, no. But you know what I mean.
Well, we'll see, yeah, it'll come up again, I'm sure. Hey, listen, on Greek gods, we thought we would test our knowledge. We've got a little quiz.
Oh, no.
You ready for this? Okay. So it's time to play God or Not. Here we go. Exciting. Like the little music fanfare there. Right, so here we are. Okay? So we're going to give you some names. We've got 7 names. You just got to... First name. Demeter, Kevin Maguire, Demeter, God or Not?
Not.
No, goddess. That is the goddess of the harvest, Kevin. You're
wrong. There we
are. Wrong.
Right, I'll sit in the corner.
Next one. Okay, you see. So Ellie, yours. Calgon, God or Not?
Not.
The laugh it gives it away. No, you're right. It's a washing up. Yeah, some sort of washing up tablet. Okay, Rakie, your one. Zadra. God or Not?
Not.
Not a god, you're right.
Oh, very good.
That's a wooden roller coaster in Poland. Are we enjoying this?
No.
Come on, Kevin, redeem yourself. Dionysus.
Yes.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
That is a god. Well done. God of fertility. Next one, God or Not, Ellie. Here we go. Imodium.
No. I'm just destined to win
Oh,
this quiz.
please say that's a god. There we are. That's a daytime snap for you on Twitter. Okay. Next one, God or Not, Cresta. Rakie.
God.
God. God of what?
Oh.
Ski runs.
Yeah, I'll save you.
I want to say like harvest.
No,
fruit
it's a Vauxhall car.
Oh no!
God of harvest is good. Last one here, Hestia. Anyone want to shout out God or Not?
God.
God. All think God.
Yeah,
Correct.
God, yeah.
Correct. Oh, Kevin comes in last with God.
got to be God, yeah.
Hey, that was God or Not. Brilliant. You can catch Rakie in the new Netflix program Kaos, which is spelled Kaos, streaming now. Thank you for talking about it. Brilliant. There it is. There it is. What an ambitious thing. And the end of the effing world was brilliant as well. So we'll get into the papers and back into the papers. Let's have a look at the Telegraph now. Now, we were mentioning Keir Starmer's tax options and where he and Rachel Reeves go. And the Telegraph, which is sort of going through a phase where it enjoys making its readers really angry every day, says it's going to be cars and petrol and fuel and all that. What do you think, Ellie?
I mean, they've not ruled it out. I mean, Rachel Reeves has been very clever and dancing around the issue, but ultimately I think they are going to do it, and it could be by as much as 10p, which it would cause misery for millions of people. If they do it, they've still not said. I think at The Sun we've worked really hard with our Keep It Down campaign to try and help drivers. We've saved them a lot of money, but at the minute, you just got to think they are going to raise taxes. They are, and this is clearly a tax they're going to raise.
But if they massively increase fuel duty, that would stop people driving, which seems to be one of their aims, Kevin.
Yeah, it would raise some money. I don't think they'll massively increase it, but fuel duty has been frozen for 14 years. Then 2 years ago, there was a 5p cut, which was meant to be temporary. Now, if you reverse that 5p cut, you raise £2 billion. Yes, you pay it as a motorist, but the centre-right think tank, the Social Market Foundation, when that cut came in, said it's actually regressive because most of the benefits of it go to the richest households. I think the richest fifth got about a quarter of the cut. The poorest fifth only got 10% of the cut because people have Chelsea taxis, Chelsea tractors, bigger cars, don't use public transport as much. So I think there is a case for it, but there's no doubt it's a very politically sensitive tax because when you drive around, you notice pump prices outside petrol stations. They're there. You don't go past a pub and see the price of a pint. But so it reinforces all the time.
Do you drive, Rakie?
No, I don't.
You don't drive at all?
No,
or?
I pretend to drive on television.
So you've got a licence or not even that?
Provisional. I've never taken a test.
Really? Okay, good for you.
But we have a car. My husband can drive.
Yeah. I say good for you just because I think if you live in a city now, you can probably do it without driving. Not in the country, I do appreciate that.
But I wonder if there is any tax that isn't politically sensitive.
I think taxes that only hit smaller groups. For instance, inheritance tax. There's only fewer than 1 in every 20.
People go mad about it, though. They go mad about it.
Those who want more than £500,000 tax-free go mad about it.
No. Everyone goes mad. You remember when George Osborne said, "I'm now going to say that you can have £1 million without," and
2007 never did it.
Yeah, but he caused Labour to melt down on it
at the time. But I think people have seen through it now, and it was the last government, the last Conservative, kept floating this idea of inheritance tax, and we thought, yeah, brilliant, do it. Who will benefit? Rishi Sunak will. Multi-millionaires will benefit, but everyone, if you drive, you've got to pay fuel.
But non-doms is another example, is it, where you can hit the Starmer seems that you can hit the non-doms forever, and no one will ever. They don't even vote.
But you can tax banks. That's popular. Windfall taxes on energy companies. That's
what about taxing? All right, going with your idea,
VAT
Rakie,
on private schools.
Taxes that no one's going to mind. Tax criminals. Basically, if you commit a crime, you're now going to pay a 60% rate of tax. How about that?
That'd be incredible, and that'd be a massive deterrent.
Pete the Sun would love that.
They would.
You're right. You'll pay 60% income tax for the next 10 years.
But a lot of people who are committing crime have no money.
Yeah, we're quite bad at thinking up policies on this programme.
I think the default level could be.
The default level
could be high.
You stole those beans.
You destroyed that in one go.
It also depends what you've done.
I also think you want. Before this goes out of control, you do want people to be able to rebuild their lives after serving a jail sentence. That's quite important. So, putting them on a 60%.
There is no tax that somebody won't scream about. Whether they're screaming, if you tax them, they'll take their business elsewhere, or whether you. Nobody wants to pay tax, but everybody wants their roads fixed, and they want. I don't know how the two are meant to work.
What about some professions which are tax-free? For example, my brother's a comedian. I've always thought comedians should not have to pay tax. Patently.
That's not funny.
Well, it's not. You want to encourage comedy. You want them to prosper. Comedians don't earn very much. Why are they having to pay tax in our society? It's a good thing that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's extraordinary.
I don't think comedians.
Why tax nurses then?
Well,
yes, because they're
paid by the state. Paid by the state.
If you're getting paid, then I just think you should contribute.
Okay.
And
It is.
we will always grumble about it, but, you know, I like that occasionally someone comes and sweeps my road. It doesn't happen
the
often,
highest tax
but I
since
like
the
it when
war.
it does. Right?
Overall, but most of those are corporate taxes now. Personal taxes, income tax and national insurance are pretty relatively low
Okay,
now.
well, yeah. Rakie in the Express, here we are. The Oscar, this is a better acting story for you. Oscar-winning director, none other than Francis Ford Coppola, slams woke Hollywood. Now, what is this?
What does he mean?
Well, he says he's worked with cancelled actors, right? And of course, he's the legend who did The Godfather. Have we got the clip of Apocalypse Now where they say, I love the smell of napalm in the morning? Can we see this?
Smell that? You smell that? Napalm, son. Nothing else in the world smells like that. I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
That's such a classic. Robert
It's
Duvall.
amazing.
Yeah. But so he essentially thinks that the more controversial and maybe even cancelled an actor is, the more you've got to put him on screen.
Because, listen, he's extraordinary. I would love to meet him and pick his brain. I love his, but I sometimes think people just stick the word woke in because they know they're going to make the papers if they do. And if you said, OK, Mr. Ford Coppola, sir, what if you can't use the word woke? What word would you use in that sentence? Because I have no idea how you're using the word. So you're not allowed to, let's play a game where you're not allowed to use the word woke, but you still want to make your point. Then I'm listening. Other than that, you just wanted to make the papers. I respect you, and I love your work, but you're talking nonsense.
Well,
Speak to me in English, I understand.
OK, an example, a specific example will help us here. In Megalopolis, which is his film, which, by the way, he partly funded by selling his own winery, which is incredible. One of the actors, I don't know if we're going to see, it's John Voight is in it, I think. Now, Voight, who's the father of Angelina Jolie, and was back in the 70s was in films like Midnight Cowboy. There he is. He was cancelled because he supported Trump.
That's hardly a crime.
It's not a crime. So that's just stupid. I mean, why did anybody feel the need to do that? So, OK, if we're saying that people lost work or didn't get work because of their political affiliations, unless they've come to some very, very dark place, then they shouldn't have been losing work. So then I get it, but then you don't need to use the word woke.
Almost every case I've looked into when people claim they've been discriminated against because they're woke, it turns there is much more to it. And I think Francis Ford Coppola made fantastic films, probably still is, but he's become a very grumpy old man, and the world is changing. What was once acceptable in his days in the treatment of women, gay people, people of colour, isn't acceptable now, and I think that's
woke, we know what
progress.
woke is. Woke is when they decide to rewrite Roald Dahl, right? And they decide to take out something called the black cars or something, you know.
It is not.
No?
That's how you're using it.
Right.
But the word just gets it's like it's a non-word now because we all know what it meant, right? We all know what it meant, and now people have taken it to mean what
It meant awake to injustice is what it meant.
And now
yeah.
someone's decided that being awake to injustice is a negative thing, and so they use it negatively. I now insist. I absolutely insist that you make your point without using the word because it's too easy.
What do you think? I think Ellie probably politely disagrees, but you're not springing to my defence here.
I think the term has been massively overused and is oversprung, and I think a lot of people don't actually know the actual meaning of what woke is or what it was initially created to be, and it is bandied around, I think, by especially the older generation who say it's that woke nonsense.
Yes, and
they don't really
know what they don't know what
Actually,
they're talking about.
most everyday people, ordinary people, don't use it. It's kind of normally right-wing ideological people who use it. Say, oh, that's woke, so you can just say it's wrong. Well, what do you want to say? Do you want to say racism's all right? Sexism's all right? Homophobia's all right?
OK, another example.
No?
When Trump was nearly assassinated, everyone said, oh, the reason he's in danger is because they had to hire diverse hiring of agents. They ended up with a lot of short women standing around him. That's why he's in danger. That was woke. But that it may be untrue and wrong and unfair.
Anything I don't like. So I'm not happy with that, therefore it's woke. That doesn't include me, therefore it's woke. I don't like that food. It must be woke food. That's a woke restaurant visited by woke police officers who live in a woke neighbourhood. It's nonsense. Say what you mean.
Interesting.
Be specific.
Lazy.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, it's good. It's just become shorthand for
I don't like
what
that.
we used to say
I don't like
politically correct. Yeah. I still think there is a meaning there, though. I mean, I went to a restaurant the other day. They said sustainable meals, right? So the beef was sustainable, and then they said sustainable desserts. I don't think there's any such thing as that's a woke dessert
But why
right
did
there.
you ask them what that meant?
I just don't want to hear their woke
Don't
explanation.
dismiss it as a woke dessert.
Maybe,
Just
maybe.
ask
It's a
them what they
woke dessert.
mean
I
by
know.
that.
know, but
Stop.
It would have been.
I hear you. I hear you. I
They
hear
probably
you.
meant, look, they could cook it in the
Sustainable
last 7
desserts.
days, in the fridge. That's sustainable.
All right. There's a story in the Guardian about so-called beaver bombings. What is that, Ellie?
So it turns out beaver bombings is a thing, and people have been, can I believe I was saying this on television, that people have been covertly releasing beavers across the countryside. So ultimately their government had a scheme that they were going to release beavers into the wild, but this hasn't been happening as often or as much or as in the numbers that people wished or groups wished. And now ultimately people are secretly releasing beavers. And ultimately, it's becoming a bit of a nightmare.
Do we mind that? I mean, why not secretly release wild animals?
Where do you get a beaver
I don't know
from?
where
Is
is it beaver breeding? Is that what's happening there? I don't know.
Well,
I
they're
don't know.
amazing for the environment. Eva
sound good
Bishop
to
from
me.
the Beaver Trust said that these great native species, they got a lot to offer. They boost biodiversity, climate change adaptation. It'd be crazy not to look at a wild release as a tool for government, but I don't think the government are quite busy at the minute. They're not particularly looking at our beavers.
No.
And is that what they need to be doing?
Thanks, Ellie. Thank you.
Oh, I wish they would. I wish they would.
Exactly.
Really?
I would love
Right,
the government to look at our beavers.
They are.
Do
They are
something
natural.
positive. Do something that no, presumably
Yeah.
beavers don't eat anything. They're not going to.
I don't think the government's got a level of cameras and surveillance, but whether they've got time to look at every beaver.
Do something positive for the environment.
Hugely. And they're looking at sort of doing the free living beavers in Cornwall, Dorset and on the Isle of Wight.
I love that.
Good.
That's like
I'm
the
loving.
best
We've done everything. And the beaver bombings are not woke. We can agree with that. They're not.
But
Oh,
somebody,
yes, they
somebody
are.
will
Yeah,
decide
they
they are.
Someone will say a
Someone
beaver.
who doesn't like beavers will decide this.
I love
beavers
the
are all
idea.
woke
Someone's
nonsense.
just tuned in a minute ago and is watching the TV thinking, what's going... Beaver bombings are woke? Thank you, Rakie, so much for coming in. What a pleasure. And you can watch Rakie in Kaos streaming on Netflix right now. More after the break when Storm will join us and we'll discuss whether it's okay for a child to drive a tractor. See you very soon.